You've probably seen the headlines, and yeah, they can be pretty alarming. Things like common food preservative linked to cancer. But what's the real story behind the scare? Today, we're gonna dig in and unpack the science to see if there's a genuine risk hiding in our food.
It's the question we all ask ourselves in the grocery aisle, right? You're trying to choose the right foods, but what about all those hidden ingredients? Are the very preservatives that keep our food fresh actually posing some kind of long-term risk?
And this, right here, is the heart of the concern. A couple of major new studies have drawn what looks like a direct line between some of the most common preservatives out there and a higher risk for serious conditions like cancer and type 2 diabetes. So let's break down where this is all coming from.
So where are these headlines even coming from? Before we get into the findings, we really need to understand the source and ask ourselves, how credible is this research anyway?
Okay, so this isn't just some small, isolated report. We're talking about two massive studies out of France, and they were published in highly respected peer-reviewed journals. They're built on data from something called the Nutrinet Santé Project, which has been tracking the eating habits of over 100,000 people for years. I mean, that scale is exactly what makes these findings so significant and, newsworthy.
All right, so now that we know the research is legit, what did it actually find? Let's get into the specifics. Now, what's really interesting here is just how specific these connections are. The researchers linked nitrites and nitrates, the stuff you find in cured meats like ham and bacon, to a higher risk for several cancers. And they got even more specific. Sodium nitrate was linked directly to prostate cancer. And then there's a totally different preservative, potassium sorbate, which was associated with type 2 diabetes.
And get this was the strongest link they found. The study showed a 33% higher risk of developing prostate cancer for people who had higher intakes of sodium nitrate. I mean, that's a number that definitely gets your attention. And it wasn't just about cancer. The research also uncovered a really striking link for diabetes. Potassium sorbate, which is a super common preservative used to stop mold from growing in foods and drinks, was associated with twice the risk of developing type 2 diabetes.
Okay, those numbers sound pretty scary, I get it. But this next part is maybe the most important piece of this whole explainer. We have to talk about what I call the correlation catch, because it changes everything about how we should be looking at these results.
You see, these French studies were observational. That just means the scientists are watching and recording data. They're not stepping in and actually changing anything. And that leads to a crucial point. They can find these powerful links between two things, but they can't prove that one thing directly caused the other. And this just lays it out perfectly. Association simply means A and B are seen happening together. Causation means A makes B happen. What these studies found was a strong association, a correlation. What they did not find is proof of causation. And believe me, that is a critical distinction that almost always gets lost in the headline.
To make this crystal clear, let's use the classic example. In the summer, both ice cream sales and shark attacks go up. Are they linked? Yes, absolutely. But does eating ice cream cause shark attacks? Of course not. There's a third thing going on, what scientists call a confounding factor. In this case, it's hot weather. More people are at the beach, they're eating ice cream, they're swimming in the ocean, and that unfortunately leads to more shark encounters. And outside experts pointed this out right away. As nutrition expert Tom Sanders noted, people who eat a lot of processed meats might also have other lifestyle habits that increase their risk. Now, the study tries to correct for these things, but it's almost impossible to do it perfectly. The real cause could be something else that's just associated with eating these kinds of foods.
So knowing it's an association and not a proven cause, just how big is this risk really? Let's try to put these numbers into perspective.
This chart really helps frame the conversation. That 33% increased risk associated with sodium nitrite, it seems pretty large on its own, but when you put it up against a major, proven risk factor like heavy smoking, which can increase your risk of lung cancer by 15 times, that's a 1,400% increase. You really see the difference. The risk from preservatives is described as moderate, while other lifestyle choices, well, they just carry a whole lot more weight.
Okay, we've covered the science, we've covered the nuance. But what does this all mean for your next trip to the grocery store? Let's get to the practical takeaway. Well, the first and most honest answer is that the science just isn't settled yet. These studies are an important flag, a signpost that tells scientists, hey, we need to look deeper into this, but we are not yet at the point of having definitive proof. So what can you do with this information right now? Dr. Mathilde Touvier, who supervised these very studies, offers this really straightforward advice. While the science continues to evolve, the simplest and probably most effective strategy is just to lean towards foods that are less processed.
Ultimately, these findings aren't a reason to panic, but they are a reason to be mindful. They remind us that the link between our diet and our health is, well, it's complicated. The science is going to continue to evolve, but you don't have to wait for it. Now that you're armed with the full context, the choice is in your hands. So, what's going in your cart?